Hey, Connell, how you doing? Happy Memorial Day. It is 2 o'clock Central Standard Time. This has been a relaxing day. Uh, the things that we probably need to keep in mind on a day like today is that there is a lot of people that have passed in service to this nation. Now, I'm not going to make a statement to bust anybody's chops, but I'm pretty certain that those people died so we could have the ability to do the things that we're doing or be closer to doing the things we want to do. Last week we had a national tragedy on the precipice of the National Rifle uh, Convention in Texas, National NRA Convention in Texas. About 4 hours away from there to the west is Uvalde, where they had a pretty fucking obvious event happen where a bunch of kids could have not died, but instead the news reports coming out aren't good and they're honest news reports, which is why we should not be dismissive of things we hear. We should investigate for ourselves. And the more I've found, the more I've discovered that there's a lot of truth to the conspiracy theory. There's been other mass shootings where EMS has not been allowed to go and engage a shooter so they could have a ratcheted up situation. As much as I want to remember the people that died for the country to have a holiday, an honest holiday where they thought they were doing something great for the nation. I want everybody to use their head and think critically whenever things start to happen. There's no absolute reason why you would not want to do that. I'm going to stream for about 2 hours, hour and 58 minutes. Connell, you know where to go if you want to jump in. Okay. I'm almost ready to start painting. So, chat, how have you been? Have you had a good Memorial Day? Have you started to honor the strangers? Question is generally whenever somebody dies trying to do something like make the world a better place, it's kind of an unasked contract. They pay for it in blood. You have to live your best life. JD, Legion of Myth. If you want it, if you want to fix the world, if you want to make things better for the people around you, there's no reason as to why you don't start going about it. Kind of like last September. I'm on the mend. I'm in the hospital. The worst is over. And as I'm getting better, I make a promise to myself that I'm going to start living the way I want to live. And it has to be a question that all of you guys have to ask yourselves. How do you want to live? You're going to die at some point. So just accept that fact and then start to fucking do the things you want to do. How you doing, Connell?
I'm grumpy. You?
Doing pretty good. We the more that I've been watching the news, the angrier I get.
Yep.
Yeah, all this shit about Uvalde's coming out. And I mean, I actually know some of the people in that area. One of the guys I do know, hey, Captain Fandom Nerd. I do know a couple guys in that area that are involved with law enforcement. One's a statey, one's border patrol. And they both have said that they aren't surprised. Can't say that publicly with a badge on, kind of lose your job, but it's a fact that we have crap like this going on, and worse yet, everybody's finding the tapes, everybody's finding the stuff. And don't ask me where to find it. All you've got to do is look for it your damn self. I use Bing as my search engine when I want to find something.
I'm trying my best. Respect to the families that lost their children and or wives or husband because they were teachers. To keep my anger at the situation to a boil.
Yeah.
You know how I am, Bruce.
Yeah.
So I got questions. I'm sure 19 parents have questions. I'm sure you have questions. Until I have the answers, I'm going to try my best not to.
Here's the thing. I'm probably going to lose my channel today. I'm going to say that last week I was really in the mood to watch things going on in Switzerland, in Davos, because the World Economic Forum was getting together, and you were hearing already some things that kind of scare you. Things like, Bill Gates saying monkeypox is going to be really bad. It's going to be like COVID. And he's been doing simulations on monkeypox for the past year. Okay. Now, I don't know if his simulations are, like war games, like where you try to figure out how to beat something, or if his war games are he's playing pandemic, trying to kill the world off, which I think everybody that has a black sense of humor has played pandemic, the mobile game. Yeah.
I haven't.
You and then his record's not really good, especially with Ebola in South Africa. But he had a farce last week in Davos where he's talking about how this is going to be a very bad disease and it's going to blow up in a way that we're not expecting. Okay, so I'll bite. Tell us, Bill. And then Al Gore gets on stage and he talks about how he's a little upset that these companies that promise green mandates for their company operations, they only 12% is hitting their targets that are being instituted by the UN or WEF, whatever you call it. So great. We have Al Gore as a person of influence or authoritative source. Fuck. The guy that invented the lockbox in politics. Anyway, he's talking about that. And then John Kerry gets out there and he starts talking about how he's trying to do his best to help show that you can give good carbon footprints with what you're doing. But between him and Al Gore, they're buying up extra carbon footprint money so they can have the lateral ability to fly their jets wherever they may need to go.
Yeah, I knew you were going there. I
Yeah,
knew.
of course I'm going to go there. I'm going to fucking go there every fucking time.
I wanted to go there, but you fucking beat me to it.
Well, and then worse yet, you have this shit that starts in Uvalde, which is a tragedy. But then on worse of the tragedy, like you find out it's an operation. It wasn't a response. It's part of the new playbook where they're like, we got to agitate the gun control lobby, and they do it by making 19 families without their kids and two adults, two brave teachers. God bless them. They perish in this, trying to stop a shit show. So it's just I don't know what was worse. Was it worse that they had this orchestrated to where we got Uvalde to take our eyes off Davos, or is it worse that you have such a response to it to where the stories come out of what events happened on the ground in Uvalde that you have a fat fuck in San Antonio talking about it, me, because the pieces are easy to pick up. And no, you're not going to really be finding it a lot on YouTube. You'll find more of it on BitChute, on Rumble, on Odyssey. Yeah, Shadzar's right. We don't need individual carbon footprints for laymen. But the thing is that that's part of the thing coming down. The government and the big people in corporate America are going to have no regulatory authority, but you and I are going to have authority looming over our heads telling us don't drive that extra mile out of the way to McDonald's. Don't you dare buy some beef hamburgers. Your carbon footprint will not be diminished until December 31st when it resets, and it will be lower than what it was this year. You're not going to be allowed to drive as much. You're not going to be allowed to eat as much meat. And who the hell put these faggots in charge? Fuck these people. And yeah, Bruce, I think it's worse that Beto O'Rourke used Uvalde for political gain. Beto O'Rourke had no pieces to play. And so he went for the most outlandish piece he could. And he went and he did that. I was so shocked that it took them 7 old men and 2 badged individuals to get him out of the building. I mean, Ted Cruz is not a very authoritative person. He's a good legal mind. I wouldn't trust him in an office, and I don't trust him now, but he's a good legal mind. But whenever he's making it look like he's actually powerful and in charge, and he's dismissive of a person, the person he's talking to is not a real considerable mess of a human being. And Beto O'Rourke is just a pile of shit. And I can't wait for that pile of shit to get flushed.
You got me at lost. I know the name, I just can't place it.
He's the little fuck that rides a skateboard on his commercials, but he went to Uvalde last week and he started screaming at the panel with the mayor up there, the governor, senator. He says, "You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. You're doing nothing. There's nothing you're doing at all. You've not helped. This is not helping."
Right.
And then all of these people from Texas legislature to local authorities stood up, ambled to the front of the stage to confront him like it was going to be a bunch of foghorn leghorns. Boy, I'm telling you now, I say now, you all know, I can't believe that you are here trying to turn this into a political circus for your own gain. How dare you, little Francis O'Rourke? And it was kind of funny. It was really funny, actually. But the worst part about it was that the shooting had happened, and these old men are talking.
Yeah.
This, and then worse yet, now Beto takes his people and he goes to Houston for the NRA convention, which that was sad. I mean, not the convention itself, but the fact that all these people are blaming the gun because, the gun's a problem, the guns are a problem. No, fucker. It was the cops that wouldn't fucking act in the safety of the fucking mindset of the kids. Just let them get shot there. 9 phone calls. 1 fucking phone call from the inside the school. 9 times. 911. Hey, we're being shot at. Hey, come help us. Please save us. There's only 8 or 9 of us alive still. Please help us. Holy fuck.
The guy's grandma who got shot in the face.
In the face.
In the face. Calls the police and says, by the way, this is going to happen. Please go stop it. No, we can't do that because nothing has happened yet. Ring, rigging shot at. We'll be right there. Let me just stop at the local donut shop. I'm trying to behave, Bruce.
You know, I'm perfectly fine. All right. This is one of those things. My pissed off meter is to the point where I can lose a channel. I'm not going to hurt much. By the way, if I lose a channel, YouTube, my monthly amount for no fucking adverts goes away from YouTube. But I can guarantee you I will stop using every Google service. I will make it off, delete it off my goddamn phone, and you'll be done with one more customer. You have pissed them off. I know that sounds like a very, very minor threat, but I'm telling you right fucking now, free speech is more important than your shitty fucking narrative, so fuck you.
I just don't get it. You
No,
hear
go ahead.
Well, the whole Google thing, I got nothing on. My mind is fully on the situation at the school. I mean, I went to school when Columbine happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, fucking, we have other people in our community have other stories about being not at that school, but other schools that when shit like this happens, and there was more of a response than we're going to stand in line and make sure none of the parents get in to say goodbye to their dying child.
I mean, I'll be happy to say the following. It's a shame that these people allow themselves to be mind controlled and told that the individuals at school are the enemy. We've had how many school shootings where shit like this has happened? And I don't think Columbine was actually part of any government work. I do think this one was, because the kid had 2 AR-15s and a lot of he had so much gear going into this. Like, the kid was ready to go, and he only ended up using one of the ARs, and the other items really weren't fucked with. I think he reloaded a couple times, from what most of them said. But holy shit, where did an 18-year-old kid with no shitty job prospects in Uvalde, i.e., he didn't want to go work in the oil field? Did you see what he did? He wore makeup and eyeliner. He wanted to be a little girl, or he wanted to be anything but what he was doing where he was. And the guy is a fucking nut. Worse, his mother comes out and says, you guys have no ability to judge him. You have no ability. Excuse me, bitch. You're the dumb cunt that pushed him out of your thighs, and you fucking just left him to grandma, let grandma fuck with it. Oh, yeah, let her get shot in the face because you're fucking irresponsible. Travis is over there trying to say, no, we need the nukes. We need to just nuke ourselves. This will be fine. Hey, Jedi Bill 797, how you doing, sir? But this is one of those things where I'm unaware of how we got to this point. I know how we got to this point. The kid had no fucking positive male role model in his life. He didn't have somebody who was structuring the family. He was living with grandmother. A lot of my friends live with their grandmothers, but you know what they do? They honor their fucking elders. They listen. I guess maybe if you catch a fucking chancla in the back of the head a couple times, a sandal for those of you that are not from down here, maybe you learn to respect your grandparents, because the ones down here have no compunction about whipping that left sandal off their foot and winging it at 90 mile per hour like an MLB star and knocking some sense into the kid.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. She did get, after she got done being blasted in the face, she called the cops and said, we have problems.
She fucking called the cops. She could have just laid there and fucking died. She could have. But she called the fucking cops.
She did more to help that kid out than what his mother did. I'll say that much. And I don't want to hear any mental health advocates say this, this, or this, or this, this. Listen, there's a certain point when mental health advocates don't have any property, any skin in the game. And once the kid's like 18 years old and he's made up his mind, he's listened to 74 hours straight of depressed mode, and he's wanting to go all emo, but on a homicidal scale, it's over. He was at the point where Dylan Klebold was, and the other kid that shot up Columbine.
The Columbine, from my understanding, those kids were getting fucking screwed every which way from Sunday, either by the fucking school or by the fucking kids. I'm not excusing what they did, but fucking being a teenager is rough. I mean, your body's changing, emotionally you're changing, mentally you're changing, and not being part of the cool crowd. Therefore, when going to school is pure hell because all fucking teenagers are little fucking asshats. Not all teenagers, but most of them.
That's where it accelerated. I mean, the father wasn't involved with those kids' lives. The father wasn't involved with fucking this dumbass's life. I'm a perfect example of all this because I was the Omega Wolf in high school. I was a kid that got punched. I was a kid that got beat up for playing D&D. I can't tell you the number of times I got fucking rolled at the high school lot, One of the guys that once Bruce gets a fucking car, you guys better be worried because he's going to take Christine out on you. I never fucking mass murdered anybody. And as much as the desire is there to do that, I would at least target it on like, this guy in Buffalo, he drove 4 hours to go shoot up a store. Instead, he could have driven 1 hour down into fucking George Soros's office and could have actually pinpointed some fucking ammunition at a problem. The people at the store were the problem. What George Soros does, defunding fucking finances and ruining currencies worldwide, that fucker's a problem. Shads are be clapping if that happened. So would I. But the thing is that all these events that are happening, they're not by circumstance. They're not by just coincidence.
Now, I don't know how much an assault rifle costs, but I'm pretty sure it's more than what?
What type do you want?
No, I personally not.
I'm not the Lord of War, but I'm going to tell you, like an AR will start at about 1,700.
My question,
about 7.
All right. The reason why I say this is not that I'm interested in getting one for my own. Maybe I should be.
You should be.
But how does a poor kid with no financial prospects, as you said, not only afford to get one, but 2 plus body armor?
I think he was gifted that.
And by who? Who triggered this kid? Who cranked him up and pointed him in that fucking direction?
Well, Travis is like, I can buy an AR right now for 500 to 700. Around here, it's about 1,200. For a good one, it's about 17. For a good fucking, I would pay $500 to $700 to get a good AK platform. I like 47. Sorry. The reason why is I could have pickle jars. I could have pickle barrels all over my home, and inside every pickle barrel is a fucking AK-47 waiting to be pulled out and fucking squeezed. Unlike an AR-15, an AK, you could set it in fucking bilge for fucking years, pull it out, and it's ready to fire. Oh, damn it jammed. Okay, let me clear it. About 2 seconds later. Shadzar, I said that you would have clapped if something like George Soros's office would have been hit. Yeah, Travis is like, if it shoots and hits target, it's good. Yeah, everything dividing people up into groups. Everybody's getting fucking ratioed. Everybody's getting compartmentalized into their own little tribes. You got the cartel sending people through the fucking southern border. AK-2, they run through 8 platforms. Yeah, Shadzar, nobody said he bought those things. He was too poor to afford them, so they had to be gifted. And if the thing is, there's 18 minutes of missing audio from 11:52 to 12:10. Something was said, and for 18 minutes, you're not going to find that fucking audio in Uvalde, which is a fucking crying shame because it would be awful nice to know whose voice is behind those actions.
Then you got fucking Ted Cruz and a few other people down there saying that what?
He's the swamp.
He's going down there saying that all schools should just have one door in and one door out. What if the school catches on fire? What if, there's a reason there's multiple doors. I'm not saying not having protection at said doors. All doors should be covered by camera or by person. I'm just saying a one-door school is not the answer.
Shadzar says, I don't know who George Soros is. I see his poster in Young Rippa videos. Wow. Wow, I didn't realize there was somebody that was older than me that didn't know who Soros was. Wow.
I'm not getting the reference.
Well, there's a guy we watched named Young Rippa. He does some really good stuff, a lot like what we do, but he goes in depth a little bit deeper. He has a bigger platform to speak from. Young Rippa is a really good musician and an even better political talking head. I'm forgetting the guy off of 2020 ABC channel that he's in his 70s now, and he uses Young Rippa for his own news work. And as a side job, Young Rippa does this and Rumble and does political commentary. I think he stopped being a musician, or he just isn't touring right now. But
oh shit,
Ted Cruz trying to set up a kill zone. No, Ted Cruz is just
an idiot.
He's not the guy that I want to listen to when it comes to like emergency situations or crisis reaction moments. That's not the guy I want to listen to.
Oh, okay, Parrot Head. Okay, now I know who you are. I had to hear the first name. The last name didn't mean anything.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh, wow.
He worked for the Joymans.
What did hell yeah, Connell, hell yeah.
Yeah, the drug cartel, the head of DHS is part of the problem. I mean, the entire administration is part of the problem because you have a bunch of people that are involved with it that are not America friendly. You have a lady that is the head of energy. She has no idea that they're canceling leases for natural gas and oil up in Alaska right now. She's absolutely clueless. You have other people that are involved with things going on that they are absolutely against America having a position of strength on it. This is not an America First group. Yeah, Ripa has the Thomas Sowell poster, who is an amazing thinker. We will never hear him during the month of February. We should, but we don't. Travis says, you see the story the military plane landed there just before the attack and left after the shooting started? No. I'm pretty certain that happened, though.
Wait, what? Military at the school?
No, in Uvalde, there's a small airport there. Military plane lands just before the attack and then left just before shooting started. Of course, Travis. I'm not going to disagree. We're in some Operation Northwoods shit right here. A lot of people are like, what? We're bringing that back? No. It never ended. It was on pause. And everything that's going on right now is just, more debauchery from the government. Not from the left. It's the government. You have some people in there that are just absolutely committed to getting rid of us. I mean, last week, the fucking head of Pfizer complained that it was going to take till 2024 for half the world's population to be eradicated. The head of Pfizer asking for wanting half of us to be Thanos. Okay. Statements like that are why I wanted to watch the things going on in Davos, because once I started seeing that, I'm like, what the fuck is going on over there? What are they playing?
This is a weird scenario because normally when it comes to the shit, me and you are not exactly at different ends of the pool, but not exactly agreeing on everything.
Well, I've not turned on Ted Cruz, but I've been watching him for years. I helped him get elected down here by campaigning, by politicking for him, and it seems like his time as being a useful mouthpiece for the people in the Texas in the legislature and Senate. I think that's over. I really do, because he's taking up more and more for big government, for big things, and he'll say he isn't, but he hasn't said no to the WEF yet. Neither has Greg Abbott, Governor Wheel.
He abandoned his state last winter.
Hold on. You mean the week where we were actually a frozen burrito?
Yes.
Yeah, if I had the money to have fucking taken a goddamn flight anywhere else, I sure as shit would have.
But no. You're a private citizen. He is. Let's start from the beginning of being in politics. You are a servant to your people.
Yeah, he is, but he's also a senator. He's not the power. He's not Governor Wheels. If Governor Wheels decided, oh fuck this, I'm out, then I could see a problem. If the mayor of Houston or the mayor of he's a senator, not a governor. He's not Abbott. If Abbott would have left, I would have had a real problem. It's like when Lori Lightfoot, there's a weekend where she's seen in Texas. Well, Chicago's having a shooting fest. That's the kind of problem I have with people, because she's the person that's directly accountable for that area. She's directly accountable to Chicago. She got voted in. I don't know by who. I mean, all these dead people seem to be getting back in their graves for another 4 years.
I didn't go for her.
But yeah, and you won't, because she's not going to leave her fucking democratically controlled area. As much as you might think Peoria Pekin's a shithole, it's actually pretty nice.
Well,
compared to that.
I know you're from Illinois. But when I say it's a Chicago thing, it's not me being glum to everybody else. Chicago has its own politics, and if you're not part of the Chicago mob, don't bother.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand. There's a lot of politics in Illinois that are directly controlled by Chicago. But the thing is, I'm going to allude to Ted Cruz leaving Texas while we're having a fucking blizzard is pretty okay, because he's a senator. He's not in charge of EMS. He's not in charge of getting the mothballed power plants back in working order, although we should have never mothballed any of the coal plants we've got. We shouldn't. They can be retrofitted. We can spend less money on them getting them up to speed than on this fucking windmill bullshit. But if he wanted to leave, there's nothing he could have done. We weren't voting on anything federally. So go ahead, Ted. Go to Mexico. I sure as shit would. God, I love Mexico when it's warm, when it's cold as fuck here. I'm just gonna say that. I hate the fucking cold. I moved out of Illinois for a goddamn reason. But if it's Governor Wheels, if it's our duly elected governor, and we've got power losses, water's being shorted, you have pipes breaking all over the state. I need the governor to be in the governor's office, bundled up in his little wheelchair, signing exec orders or mandates as to how we're going to get Texas fucking unthawed. Because he's the one with the power to do that. You can bitch about Cruz. Yes, you can. But Ted has nothing to do with what we can do to respond with the cold. he would be, if we got hit by fucking like a nationwide freeze and he went to Mexico, then go ahead, pummel the fuck out of him verbally and physically. I don't care.
Maybe it's just me, but if I ran for anything, okay, God, that's a scary thought. But if I ran for senator of Illinois,
hey, Makani,
which is just funny as hell, as it's just the thought of it.
Yeah.
And Illinois had the worst fucking drought it's ever had. All the cornfields are nothing but sand pits or dust fields.
Okay.
I would be at least there in person to ensure the people that things would get better.
Okay, I want to ask you though, aside from standing there and looking good for a camera,
I'm not involved. Yeah, I get that. As soon as I said that, I knew that was going to
in front of
happen.
the camera, I can't do a fucking thing, but I'm here in front of the camera.
But you can help.
What else are you gonna do? All you can do is grab a 32 pack of waters and haul it to somebody who's thirsty. That's all you can do.
But people want to know that their leaders are there. I know it's not a senator's job. And I'm not, and no, sitting in front of cameras, I get why you say that, Bruce. I really, really do. As I'm in front of a camera right now. But it is a senator's job to make sure that he is there for his people.
Yeah, Legion of Myth is right. It's not a senator's job to worry about it.
No, but
it's not. And I understand that you want him to be available if there's going to be some accountability that's going to, help displace the misery and get some good times going again. I get it. If, like I said, though, Ted Cruz would be very, very much available if it was a nationwide freeze and we had to get Minnesotans unthawed. You would see him in Washington, not happy, bundled up in Congress, beating on people like, we have to get coal. We have to get things thawed out. Let's fire up some CO2 friendly plants. Let's not worry about these breaking windmills. Let's get some oil power plants going. The more we warm things up, the better it'll be. And that's what would happen.
I had a moment where I was talking to my doctor, and this was a couple years ago. You said windmills, it made me think of it. To represent his people in DC. This senator. Okay, all right. Actually, I get what you're saying, but I disagree with it, and that's my problem. I realize that.
I want to get another drink. I'll be right back. This is going to be drinking stream.
Do not fix anything more than sit in Washington and push BS crap for a senator takes a helicopter ride, looks around, the damages are worthless. No, and you're not wrong, Kai, and you're not wrong, Legion. But it would make me feel better to think that the person I sent up to Washington, D.C. actually gave a fucking shit about what happened back in his own state.
And that statement right there tells me that you grew up in the era where Bill Clinton was president, because he would go whenever there'd be disaster areas, and he would be seen hugging on some 20-something-year-old woman with big old hose hogs, and he'd be like, "Man, I feel your pain so much. I'm so sorry."
Yes, I was. Yes, I was around when Clinton was in office. Technically, I was slightly around when Reagan was in office. Unfortunately, it wasn't good.
Able to comment or able to recognize Reagan or Bush's, but you saw for
Bush. I remember Senior.
You were there with Bush Senior, yeah, but you were a kid when
you
recognize politics. You're in your teen years, and you're seeing like, oh, bad shit's happening on TV. Look, the president's hugging a young lady affected by it. She must be out of a trailer park. It doesn't look too good there.
Well, trailer park.
Guys, I love it when Florida gets a hurricane. I just go down to the trailer courts and I just hug on them women and see which one wants to come back for some, have some private William time.
It's just, only fucking time they show up is when shit hits the fan.
But I don't need Ted Cruz to show up though. I mean, I need him.
Yeah. Wow.
There's things to do, yeah, but there's not things for him to do. So, like Kamirian says, it's bad. Just let him sit somewhere. Let him go to Cabo or whatever until we can get a date set where we can convene with everybody in the Congress.
And Travis, I don't take it personal. I am I've had a rough week, and I am just talking to a friend I've had for a few years, and unfortunately, guys, you guys have to hear me.
Cameron's like, Clinton was trash. Then my uncle hated Clinton so much that he voted for him as president, so the rest of the country would suffer like those in Arkansas did. Oh, did we suffer?
I didn't have a problem. I still don't have a problem with Clinton.
If
Per
he
se.
wasn't so ancient and decrepit looking right now, if he didn't look like, a 30-year-old bagel that was rolled out of the pantry, I would just say that, like, he might be somebody we'd want to put in front of the camera and interpret things from old Joe. But God, I can't believe that.
No, we need to leave we need to leave Biden alone and let him do what he's doing. So when the next time we run an election and we look at the candidates, we'll start looking at the candidates, say, no, he's too young, and no, he's too old. Where's the Goldilocks?
The Goldilocks zone is like what Clinton did when he was in his 40s or 50s, and he's campaigning for president, youngest president ever. That was the Goldilocks zone, because that guy had the virility of youth. He had the best stories coming out. Now, granted, his wife was just an evil cunt, and she was trying to push all these things through that every one of them failed damn near. And the only way that we could avoid looking at Hillary so closely was she told Bill, go ahead and cheat. Don't get caught. Go ahead and cheat. Go ahead, get photographed with all these women. And so, like Denise Rich, who slept with Bill Clinton with her like 44 double E boobs, just so her brother Seth Rich, I know not Seth Rich, it was Denise Rich, had a brother that he was allowed a pardon by Bill in 2000. And like when you saw her on camera, you knew exactly what she was doing with Bill Clinton. He was trying so hard to be a JFK. Almost said RFK.
The woman who married Charlie Sheen?
Denise Richards?
Yeah.
No, not her. No, hold on. I'll find this later.
I'm like, well, she was kind of hot. That's what you're talking about. Man, tricky dicky.
And he was right. Since Nixon, probably the best we've had, because Clinton almost governed from the middle after 94. 94, he got his ass beat in the midterms. Okay, it was Mark Rich. All right, bang, let me get Mark Rich, Denise Rich. Yeah, I'll show you this lady that Bill Clinton was pounding way back in the early days. Come on, give me the image search. There you go.
She must have cankles.
She kind of not so good looking now, but I'm just gonna say that.
Oh, well,
I mean, this is like she's pushing 70 now.
Yeah, I can see where she was a looker back in the day.
Yeah. This is what happens. Don't let your wives hit the sun and tanning salons too much, okay, gents? This is what Bill Clinton was pounding before he got her brother out of prison. She has got a lot of money and a lot of influence. Good job, Bill.
We salute you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Legion of Myth. The thing about Bush that pissed me off so much was his farm bill that he let Ted Kennedy pull his staffers out to write for him. Marion's like, I want to see the end of the line of kings. Janet's like, she has money and looks. Absolutely. Janet, that movie, by the way, is funny as hell.
The Line of Kings?
The Line of Kings. Legion of Myth says the last president to be in check by Congress was Clinton. Starting with Baby Bush, we've had kings and an inept parliament, which is true. They've not done a single thing to help America. These people are ruining everything. And I don't think we're going to get out of it by voting our way out, kids. I just hate to give you that bad news, but we're on a collision course with bad destiny. If you are going to keep letting things happen and not worry about politics, you deserve the misery you wake up in. And I mean, the United States is a really good example of, like, you have a successful company and then it gets bought out by inept people with a lot of money and pull and influence, and then they just tank it. Well, the United States is kind of the same way. The government's a disease. We have a debt because of them. Yeah, I mean, $40 billion on the border, $40 billion being given to Texas would have fixed a lot of things. Our border, the ability for us to, have security at schools, just the basics, maybe some baby formula. I don't know. We don't really need baby formula, by the way. You can get it with dehydrated milk and some sugar and some water, and you can mix that all together. There's a bunch of recipes online. The government's out there trying to tell you, don't do that, wait for us. Yeah, sure, we'll let my kids starve.
There was these things that we had back in the day called nursemaids, where women who had a child who had, would offer to help breastfeed other people's children because the amount of milk that she was producing.
Bill Clinton, get out of line. You're not a child anymore. I just wanted to try it. I just wanted to try this. It sounded like a lot of fun.
I'm not saying it's a good option. I'm just saying it was at one point.
How's it going, Max?
I was trying to stay out of this.
Are you going to tell me how horrible of a person I am, Max?
No, I wanted to clarify my comment about the Parliament nonsense. Look, dude, this shit started with Woodrow Wilson, or maybe even a little bit before then.
Oh, God, Wilson needs to be burning in hell.
Well, yeah, but when we as the people stop making Congress do its freaking job, Congress has deferred everything in the modern day to the president. Oh, Congress can't get anything done. Well, I'll do an executive order then. No, fuck your executive order. If Congress can't get it done, then it doesn't get done. It doesn't need to be done if the people say no. It doesn't need to be done just because your fucking feelings say it needs to be done. So fuck off and end the executive orders with one exception. Somebody bombed us. Somebody invades, has landed in Virginia Beach and is starting to push forward. Okay, make an executive order. Other than that, if Congress can't get it done, then it doesn't get done, and we either do it as people or we elect new leaders. Your state, and I'm talking to Bruce, is a perfect example of this, and I forget the date, but I think Grover Cleveland was the president, went to the federal government and said, we have a freaking famine, give us some money. And I think you guys asked for like $30,000 or something like that. Remember, 1800s, that'd be enough. Mm-hmm. Federal government, Grover Cleveland said, I know it would feel good for me to do this, but it isn't my place. It isn't my right to take money from, Maine and Florida and so forth to give to you because you're having a hard time. Otherwise, this will never end. Look at modern. So Texas said, F you then, and raised $300,000. You don't need the fucking government. Get the government out of your asshole and live for yourself. Learn how to fend for yourself. Some people are going to fucking die. It's a bad life. Deal with it. Or as Garthon used to say, life sucks. Get a raincoat.
It's pretty accurate.
Yeah. I can go along with that one.
I don't think I've really talked to Garthon a whole lot, but he seems like a nice guy.
He's changed recently, so I don't know what his politics are, but he used to be a very Reagan-esque Republican.
I always make fun of people. I don't make, well, I do make fun of people, but where's this guy I used to know loved Reagan? And I always look at him, it's like before or after he lost his living mind.
Well, he wasn't president then, so
He was
in my lifetime, I would say he's probably the best president.
Reagan. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
there's
that's a
stories
low bar. Don't get me wrong, but
that's true. I've heard stories that Reagan was in full blown dementia by the end of his second term.
I don't think so.
He might not have been. He might have been only 60% there.
I would take Reagan at his worst over Papa Bush at his best.
I hated Papa Bush. I was a 14-year-old kid in '89 listening to this guy talk about how we were not going to have the same cowboy up mentality that we had for the past 8 years. And that really fucking hurt me. And he says shit like kinder, gentler nation. And I didn't want to hear any more of it. I hated Bush. I hated Bush Sr., I should say.
Senior, his main issue is he had to deal with Saddam Hussein, right?
Did he have to?
No, he didn't have to. Saddam Hussein kind of put himself out there, and Bush Senior thought, "Hey, I should do something about this."
Sure. Well, and we were asked for help. A lot of things that people don't understand is, why are we here? Why are we doing this stuff? Well, we have treaties. Also, a lot of times we're asked for help. Ukraine, well, even though we are helping, Ukraine is one of the first times that I can remember in a very open sense. There are a lot of things behind the scenes that we say go F off. Rwanda, if you all remember that. But in an open sense, that somebody's come to us and said, help us. And we're like, nah, not so much. Because before then, anytime somebody asks, well, we've got to do it. We're America. We've got to show that we like and care and support. We've got to help. Why? So here's my take on the first Gulf War. I was against us going to save Kuwait. I was. Now, mind you, I lived in Kuwait for a year in 2003, 2004. I was there when Saddam was captured. The Kuwaitis were really happy. They were really great people. But wars have been fought ever since Oog hit Thug in his cave and dragged his wife out by the hair and brought her back to his own cave. Wars aren't going to stop. This Age of Aquarius bullshit that's exactly what it is. It's bullshit. It's not going to stop. You're going to fight wars. So let them bomb each other. Let them do whatever the fuck they're going to do over there and, to protect the American lives. But other than that, stay out of people's business.
I do that.
I think there's some fights that are worth having. And other times there's fights that we should stay the fuck out of. That's...
It's like the Yugoslavia. The Soviets had tanks on almost every street corner there for like 70 years. Couldn't stop the Serbs and the Croats from shooting each other. But we're going to do it. A lot of things, we do it to save face. We do it to show that we're the good guys. Fuck that. Let them deal with themselves. And I'm not saying you don't provide humanitarian aid or anything, but why are we giving, however many billions of dollars is to Pakistan for gender studies? Why are we giving billions of dollars to South Africa for AIDS cures and whatnot? That crap can go here.
Oh, yeah. I'm a strong believer charity should always start at home.
Well, the thing is, I don't think that you guys are probably putting a little bit too much faith that was actually going for a charity. I don't believe $40 billion is going to make it to Ukraine. I think it's going to be filtered out, and maybe $5 billion will get to Ukraine, and then you'll have $4 billion go up to the big guy, and maybe another $2 billion go to Hunter Biden, and maybe $5 go to his little daughter from the stripper chick. And then
my wife just made a really good point, Bruce.
Go ahead.
Is that charity should come from individuals, not from the government.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Nobody will disagree with that, Noro. And that's the problem that a lot of us have. A lot of us would love to help out.
I'm not telling people to go find God, but church is a good place to get charity.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a study done. Oh my God. It's been a while now, like 15 years ago or so. There's a study done basically saying why it's on per capita and percentages, not in overall spending, but in per capita percentages, why is charitable giving going down? And I wish I could find the study. Like I said, it's about 15 years ago. But what the result of that study was is like, most people at that point just assumed that that's what the government did. Like churches have gone, even if you just use it as a social institution, it has gone away. Community centers have gone away. Like a lot of these things where, people, help their neighbors, people help their communities, et cetera, et cetera. That's concentric circle out. You start with yourself and your family, then your neighborhood, then your city, et cetera, right? Out till you finally, the government's like the least, or the federal government's like the least important thing. But that has ended because people are like, well, I give to the government. Isn't that the government's job? The government should be doing this.
It's not the government's job.
Public education at work. Green Apple put something, charities did everything. The government decides to get involved and say, we're the good people, we're the good people.
Yeah.
And they keep doing this. And they took over the church's position in helping the homeless and helping the hungry.
Well, it also helped because, the progressives of the time, we'd call them wokes now, but progressives of the time hated the church. Now, look, I'm not a strong religious person here. But at the same time, I understand the social utility of the church. As long as you're not putting me in a theocracy, the church, it was a great place to get help and support.
Yeah.
We'll
I
agree with
mean,
that.
I was go for it, Bruce.
I was just going to say that, like, you, as much as you want to not be theocratic or religious minded on this, the thing is that you were raised in a primarily Lutheran environment, schooled in a partially Lutheran environment. A lot of people don't have that ability to come from that background. And so when they just hear those words, they're just going to think, oh my God, here comes an altar boy. And that's not the truth.
Or they're flat out, they're worse than that. They're like, down with religion. I had my phase of that, by the way, in the 90s. If it's religion, I don't want anything to do with that. I'd rather die. Okay, well then die. Well, that shouldn't happen. Well, yes, it should, because you made your fucking choice.
Yeah, you made your bed, now sleep in it. And the thing is that there's a lot of people that come from religious backgrounds that they aren't, quote unquote, theocratic or religious minded with everything they do later, but a lot of the statements they make, a lot of the choices they make come from a centered or more morally minded mindset than other people will have a chance to even comprehend, because it's been drilled into their head. Here's how you go about morality. Here's what Jesus would do. Here's what Jesus would do. And they have this ingrained within them. And so while they might not want to come out as a holier than thou type, their actions are coming out as somebody who's being benevolent and kind. And a lot of times you should get pats in the back for that. Unfortunately, in our society, if you act like that, how dare you? Oh God, we have a fucking holy roller here.
Well, I'm Catholic. I'm Catholic.
We just lost our monetization. It's okay, guys.
I'm a strong believer that if you want charity, you should go talk to your local priest, reverend, minister, pastor, and other 101 terms you guys have out there for the belief structure that you have. I think church and state should be separated, and for damn good reasons. I think that people spending their childhood in church is not a horrible thing, because you, like Bruce said, you learn certain aspects in Sunday school that you don't get from Saturday or Sunday morning cartoons. But at the same time, I will also say I'm not the world's best Catholic. I'm actually quite horrible at it. I do things that the Catholic Church was frowned upon. But that's me. That's my decision. That is a personal decision. So when you're with a group of people and somebody is like, well, the Bible says this or the Bible says that, yeah, I might give them a sideways look, but I at least understand where they're coming from, you know?
So one of the things I learned when talking politics a long time ago, and again, I respect religion. Some people would say I'm religious. Some people would say I'm not religious. I don't care. I don't need terms like that for me to be comfortable with who I am. But I will never argue the Constitution based on a religious background. I will never say, well, because the Bible says this, the Constitution needs to do that. It's like, no, That, you know, I do believe in the separation of church and state. However, what people need to recognize is that pretty much 90% of what's in our Constitution has some, and I know some people are getting all butthurt because I'm gonna use these terms that a couple of the hardcore Christians don't like me saying, but I'm saying anyway, that are Judeo-Christian in value. They come from biblical references. They come from the fact that through the Western culture, whether it was Greek and Roman, which ended up with biblical influence or Abrahamic influences, it comes from things that were learned from the Muslim world and how the West as a whole, Europe, just developed over time. The good, the bad, and the ugly of that. The Magna Carta, what's the other one? The other one later. I forget the name of it. Anyway, as time goes on with the English and the French, even though they still had monarchies, hell, the Catholic Church is a monarchy to this day. It still has influences in there that gave rise to our Constitution. But that doesn't mean that it's a religious document or you have to look at the Bible to determine what's in there. The Bible, the thing that people don't understand about the Bible, especially the anti-Christian types, as much as I won't say I'm Christian, there are a lot of good ideals in there. Maybe not all of them last the test of time for today, but why is gambling a sin? Well, because people go into debt. People become subservient to other people. Why is lechery a sin? Oh, because one side gets jealous and the other side, that's why we have laws like sexual harassment and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. People aren't property. You can go 3/5 law and so forth, but I don't want to take up all that time. Back when the Constitution, because you have to understand why that was put in place. We wouldn't have had a union without it. But anyway, there's a lot that's in the Constitution that is biblical or religious based, but it doesn't have to be argued on the point of religion, which is what I use against a lot of theologians. Also, it's like, why they didn't cook pork? Why it was a sin? Because they're dying from it. Trichinosis, liver flukes, all that stuff. Like maybe we don't eat pork. How about that? Because obviously you weirdos don't know how to cook it. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, was it within the last 5 years, the FDA finally said it's okay to eat your pork pink-ish. Where in the back of my head, I'm like, no, that pork is being cooked all the way through, burnt if possible. Yeah. No,
we also raise our hogs better now, but the point is that you can find rational reasons as to why these things happen. I'm not saying you should go dig for them. I'm not saying that the Bible's a lie. I'm not getting into a theological debate with anybody. I'm just saying that you don't have to use the Bible as a source. Say, well, you know what? We're based on these principles, so let's see what God said. No, let's look at what we say as normal human beings and understand that a lot of those references in the Bible actually help us be better people.
Right, and it also says in the Bible, "What render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar," and that means laws and government.
Doesn't mean we need to have more of them, though.
No, that's true.
I'm pretty okay with less laws.
I'm okay with less laws, but I feel like that should be also said in that statement. Hey, JD is in the mix. I'm also Catholic. We craft explosives as an alternative to racial traits. I can't say anything to that.
I was born and raised Lutheran, as Bruce said, so I don't trust anybody with a big pointy hat.
Hey, I don't trust anybody that followers wrote a 40-page Dear John letter to the Catholic Church. It's a joke, but it's a bad joke, but
Hey, when the Dear John letter is actually based in facts, because somebody was actually literate enough to read the Bible.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
I don't care. I like I said, I don't consider myself that now.
No, I game with that guy who's Lutheran every Tuesday, and we give each other so much shit. He gives me shit for being Catholic, and I give him shit for being Lutheran.
If you guys know Sheris from Legion of Myth, when he got married, I somehow got seated next to his priest, and this is when I was I was kind of ending it, but I was still in my very anti-Christian phase, and I was converting people away from Christianity and doing a damn good job of it. Oh, he was so nervous because his wife is very, to this day, hardcore Catholic. He's He says he is. He's more, yeah, okay, dear. But yeah, they kept checking up on me, like, you okay? You okay? Is everything good over here?
Was it going to be the scene from was that Dogma where Matt Damon was talking to the nun and converting her from being a nun to being whatever?
I remember very little of Dogma because it's my second most hated movie ever, with Train Spotting being the first.
Oh, and why are we friends? Killing me, Hoss.
What, you like shitty movies?
I like Kevin Smith movies. If they're shitty, they might be, but I like Kevin Smith movies. I like the way the guy thinks.
Yeah, go watch She-Ra.
No, He-Man. Yeah, hey.
Or He-Man,
He-Man
whatever
is
the fuck
not
he
in the
did.
title of the show. And this was younger. Kevin Smith, not before he got married and had kids. Kevin Smith, by the way.
Actually, I liked him after he got married better because he did that movie Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
That one is pretty good. That one's pretty good too.
That one there, for some odd reason, whenever the ending credits come on, me and my buddies would sing the song because I got high. That just kind of would happen.
Anytime somebody says $15, I would say put it in my hand. I understand.
Yeah,
no, I mean this whole situation. I think and oh my god, I can't believe I'm the one saying this. Yeah, anybody who knows me, sit down because I'm about ready to say something I normally wouldn't say. I believe everybody should have a gun. Everybody should have to go through schooling to have a gun.
Training.
That's
Training.
actually the only, and I mean literally only, law / concept, whatever, that I'm for when it comes to gun restriction. I'll tell you right now, I don't care if you have a bottle of arsenic sitting on your shelf. I don't care if you have a tank that can fire. You should be allowed to have it. I don't care. It's the execution or the use of that item that's the criminal act. You decide that you get drunk one day and you're sitting, with your crazy bombardier helmet, in your tank, and you decide to launch off a round. Well, guess what? You have proven that you are not safe for society, and you have to, and you are now going to be punished to the extent of the law. But other than that, if you want, and oh, by the way, don't put it on the roads because you're going to tear up the streets. So figure out how the hell you're going to get out of your backyard. But other than that, I don't care. I don't care. You can build a mini nuke in your garage.
Just
and you could be
my
neighbor. You could be my neighbor. I might not be comfortable with it, but you know what? Nobody gives a fuck what I'm comfortable with. like that's just the way life. I don't. A lot of things in life I'm not comfortable with, but you know what? Shit happens.
I'm not comfortable with my daughter becoming a teenager. There's not a fucking thing I can do about it.
I'm with that. Remember that time you blew a nut in Karanda and you thought it was the greatest time you ever had with her?
Yeah.
15 years later, have fun.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But on good news, my daughter got accepted into the school that she wants to go to next year.
That's not bad.
Don't know how I'm going to fucking afford that. But
is it a private school?
Yeah, Montessori.
That's nothing to me.
Yeah, private school.
There we go.
It's a very expensive private school.
You'll have to do what Jim Zelkov does and start painting those minis for a commission.
If only there was a fucking sperm donation place around me. Paying for your education, dear, one shot at a time. That's horrible.
I was denied.
Oh, so was I. I don't technically. I don't have a degree.
Yep, that's why I was as well. Because that's what makes you a better person in life. A degree.
I laugh whenever I hear people talk about their degrees. I know there's some people in the chat that have numerous degrees, and you probably wouldn't make it where you've made it in your chosen path without them. But you are still a valid person without getting a fucking degree or even a high school diploma.
I mean, there are some reasons to get a degree in terms of, like, I get a lot of engineers are better off with a degree because you can't build, laser labs and all this weird stuff in your house. But you know what doesn't need a degree? And I'll argue this to the day I die. Anybody anybody in the IT field.
Oh,
There are enough YouTube videos out there. We all have computers nowadays. There's very little that you need a degree for. Like, oh, you don't have a cybersecurity degree? Oh, I guess we can't hire you. It's like, no, you just want somebody with college debt. And I know this because I have headhunter friends and they tell me exactly what they look for. You want somebody that's in debt because as soon as they get hired, they have to start paying off that debt, can't quit their jobs.
That's slavery.
Yeah.
Welcome to modern America.
Yep.
We got rid of slaves. We just didn't get rid of slavery. Okay.
It's called salary.
Oh, fuck.
Which is why you always want an hourly wage job.
Yeah.
Even to this day, it's funny because when I was a contractor, I didn't have a glass ceiling, but here I am working for the federal government. Actually, just so people know, because I bitch about the federal government a lot, I consider myself to work for the Air Force, not for the federal government. Technically, it's a federal government job, but I don't see it that way. They'll be like, "You're an engineer and you don't have a degree? How did you get this far?" It's the only place I've actually run into a glass ceiling. Well, you're never going to see the next GS grade if you don't get that degree. I'm like, that's bullshit.
I kind of want to argue that just on the splitting hairs point of view, Max, but I'll let that one go.
No, go ahead.
It's like, but you get a paycheck through the Air Force, right?
Yep.
Which they get their paychecks through the federal government.
Okay.
Therefore, you work for the government. Like I said, splitting hairs.
Yeah, if you want 6 degrees of separation, I probably work for Kevin fucking Bacon too. No, I think
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, that's fair. I'm so fucking pissed off right now that I'm latching on to anything to argue about.
Okay.
And it's like just let it go.
I mean, yeah. I mean, by the definitions, I work for the federal government. The thing is, I mean, I don't have anything to do with policy. I'm not out in D.C. I don't have anything to do with federal anything other than I work for the United States Air Force, and I don't know if I like my job or not. I still don't fully do it here yet, but I like what I do. And you know what? People are always surprised with what I do and don't know because I don't know some of the simplest stuff because I'm not an IT guy, but I work in a very niche field. And all of a sudden, when it comes to actually figuring out what needs to be done, they're looking for me everywhere, trying to figure out like, how do we fix this?
Gotcha. Yeah, there's part of my sense of humor that pitches you in a small little basement room, similar to the basement office that the IT crowd had on that British show.
You're not far off, but again, because my field is niche, I don't work. So I sit next to a bunch of programmers and kind of close to like the computer service technicians and networking folks, right? But my job is video conferencing. So I'm running around and they don't have real video conferencing infrastructure here. So I'm running around between entities and organizations trying to set up a global environment for different levels of classification. So I'm dealing with people sitting in conference rooms. I'm dealing with firewall people. I'm dealing with network people. I'm dealing with virtual machine people. I don't know any of that as in depth as somebody who actually specializes in that, but I know a little bit of all of it.
That's fair. Now, do you have to run around in suit and tie, or did they actually let you wear normal clothes?
So my last job when I was in Germany, we up more, but that's because we respected the fact that we work for a 4-star. By the way, I'm going to send an article in private chat here as soon as I'm done with this Photoshop thing, and we'll talk about my former Germany base here in just a moment.
Okay.
I read a news article yesterday. I'll see if I can find it. But here, dude, it's like 4,000 degrees in Alabama, and people pretty much wear jeans. I'll actually wear more dress-up clothes simply just to wear lighter clothes than jeans.
Yeah, I get that. I was like, fuck.
But no, people here, the Dockers jeans, it's pretty low key. Now, when I have to give a briefing or something, I just do it myself. Nobody makes me do it. I do dress up, but even then, I don't like ties. Like I don't mind wearing a button-down shirt, wear a tie if I have to. But the whole tie thing doesn't do it for me.
I had to wear a tie for a year in my education schooling, and I wasn't disappointed when I was asked not to come back to that school the next year.
Hey, real quickly, I want to say to Travis, My brother struggled. He's a mechanic now. He ended up having to join the army and become, I can't remember what it is, but some sort of mechanic in order to be a mechanic in the real world because he didn't get a degree. A lot of those places now, unless you open up your own shop, are requiring degrees, and it's stupid. Like, oh, I have to have a degree to fix a car. I've been fixing cars since I don't know how old my brother was, but he's like 8 or 9 or something. Like, he'd been fixing cars. He knew more about cars than I know about pretty much the world. Like he's kind of takes after my grandfather in that one. But nope, couldn't get a job. And a couple other things, hit as well. Like Ford had this training that he'd have to go through for a month, but forced him to buy tools. And he's like, I can't afford tools to go to your dumb training. But he's better now. That was a bunch of years ago. But yeah, that was they kicked him in the ding ding because he didn't have a degree, which I think was stupid as hell.
In the ding ding. Oh, hi, Mama Bear. Everybody else said hi. I figured I should say hi too.
Also, it looks like Blackout Coffee is running a special for today.
Makes sense.
Memorial Day looks like they've got a 22% off. You give them your email, they send you a coupon, and you get 22% off on whatever coffees you want from them. Not a bad deal.
No, that sounds like a great deal. Actually, a friend of mine, I guess, felt sorry for me. I'm not a big coffee drinker, but she got me two large bags of Death Wish coffee beans.
I'll wake you up.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about making a coffee liqueur out of it.
I'm not a big Death Wish guy, but it has good caffeine.
Well, yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ground up a bunch, set it in a mason jar, most likely a mason jar, just for the trial run, with vodka for maybe about 2 weeks, and drain it out and see what, not drain it, but filter it out and see what it's like, and then go from there. Because I see coffee martinis for breakfast here pretty soon. Does that make
Bruce, I put that in private chat for you.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if that makes me an alcoholic, but I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
I spent 10 years on that base.
Is it gorgeous?
Ramstein Air Force Base in Germany is reworking its Pride Month festivities after critics, including a Republican senator, complained that a drag queen was picked to read to children. Ramstein, it's the largest American air base in Germany and headquarters of U.S. Air Forces in Europe, was slated to host local drag queen Stacey Teed at a 30-minute storytime event for kids at an on-base library, according to a since-deleted Facebook event. Be sure to wear your brightest and most colorful outfits, the post read. But the event creates a fracas. The chief among the opponents is Senator Marco Rubio in Florida, who confirmed Air Force had canceled drag queen story time. The same week, he wrote to Secretary Frank Kendall demanding the service immediately cancel this politically divisive event and take appropriate disciplinary action against all involved in allowing this gross abuse of taxpayer funding to place children in a sexualized environment. Little Florida man also asked Kendall how many events involving drag queens spending time around kids have been held on American military installations around the world and what resources have been used to hold them. Decisions over children and their bodies should be left to moms and dads serving our nation, Little Florida man wrote on Thursday. The last thing parents serving their nation overseas should be worried about, particularly in a theater with heightened geopolitical tensions, is whether their children are being exposed to sexually charged content simply because they visited their local library. The opposition comes amid a spike in baseless accusations of the alphabet people grooming or befriending children with the intent to sexually abuse them. It's story time, not RuPaul's Drag Race, said Natalie Ricketts, a member of Ramstein community who created a change.org petition to reinstate the events. Stacey Teed is not a sexualized name, nor would they wear the same clothes to the reading that they would for a show. Ramstein officials' planned event was not properly vetted. An advertisement was posted to the base library social media page before the event had completed Ramstein's established processes for special observance coordination and approval, said Lieutenant Colonel Will Powell, Chief of Public Affairs for the 86th Airlift Wing at Ramstein. The advertisement has been removed and the event will not take place. Rammstein leaders strive to foster a culture based on inclusion where all people are treated with dignity and respect regardless of their political views, color of their skin, or sexual orientation. The base's established processes will ensure all future special observance events are properly reviewed and approved prior to advertisement. Rammstein leaders continue to support Alphabet People and their events, and coordinators are currently in process of planning other Pride events for June. More details will be made available once final decisions are made. Drag is a centuries-long practice in dressing in exaggerated makeup and clothing of the opposite sex, most commonly used in theater and other stage performances. It's often on display during lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and other queer Pride Month events, held worldwide each June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in New York that served as a catalyst for the gay rights movement. Pride Month also celebrates the community's contributions and remembers those killed in hate crimes or by HIV/AIDS.
Wait, did they just acknowledge that Alphabet People had AIDS?
Yes.
Remember that when everyone's like, you couldn't say that?
For years they said that wasn't happening. Pride Month also celebrates the community's contributions and remember those killed in hate crimes or by HIV/AIDS. Military organizations have started hosting Pride events in the decade since the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy banning openly gay service members has ended. This year, Ricketts wrote, military organizations have started hosting Pride events in the decade since the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy banning openly gay service members ended. Okay, I read that wrong initially, my bad. This year, Ricketts wrote in the position, the 86th Mission Support Group commander canceled all Pride events unless they are rebranded without drag queens. The reason for this is because the public affairs chief received a lot of angry emails from the tax-paying Americans, most of which are not stationed here, said Ricketts, whose public LinkedIn profile shows she served as an active-duty geospatial intelligence analyst before joining the Air Force Reserve. Per the 86th Airlift Wing, you can do the event but remove the drag queen and have someone normal reading the story, said Ricketts. Wow. They have normal in quotations.
I know, I actually laughed at that when I said, are you allowed to say that? Somebody's going to take offense to that.
Yeah, according to the Change.org petition, which had gathered more than 140 digital signatures as of Friday afternoon, the library will only hold Pride story time if a drag queen participates. Objections centered on the library gathering, but allegedly led to a blanket ban from local leadership on any drag-related events. Pride is slated to kick off next week with a karaoke event run by drag queens at the base's enlisted club, says Ricketts. Ricketts disputes the idea that the event would involve anything untoward. The Monarchy of Royalty, a drag group in the Kaiserslautern military community that holds performances and events like holiday drag brunches, is losing out on funds it would have received for working at Pride Month activities, she said.
Hey, let me interrupt for just a second, Bruce, just so people understand the area. Kaiserslautern Military Community, KMC, that's there are a bunch of bases in that area. Now, Rammstein is by far the biggest and yeah, nothing compares to Rammstein. Everybody comes to Rammstein. But in that area, there are a lot of what they call Kaserns. It's a German word. So yeah, the entire area is just called, whether it's in Siederhof, Vogelway, Panzerkaserne, so on and so forth. I could name off a ton more. That entire area, I don't know what the actual range is, but just think of it as like a kind of a 30-mile range of Rammstein Air Base. And Kaiserslautern is the main German city in that area.
They have holiday drag brunches, is losing out on funds it would have received for working at Pride Month activities, she said. Most of the drag queens are enlisted members. Wow. A note anonymously posted to the popular Facebook page, Air Force AMN NCO SNCO, which airs airmen's questions and gripes and shares news articles, said those involved with Rammstein Pride are working with Air Force lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer questioning and initiative team, the Modern Military Association of America, an advocacy group for LGBTQ service members, and 86th Force Support Squadron on Solution. We are deeply disappointed that discrimination like this continues to be tolerated, said the note. All right. So
that's your United States military for you.
Yeah. Anybody see Top Gun Maverick yet?
Not yet.
That'll be this week for me. I
Planning to, though.
I can't believe that. That's
You
a hell
can't
of an
believe
article.
that?
I can't believe that article. Like, if we're going to complain about waste in the military, I mean, if it doesn't involve blowing up buildings or killing people, can we not do it? And I know there goes MWR support just went out the window with what I said there, but that's kind of the thing that I don't want to see happening with our military because of the taxpayer funding.
I don't.
It's the zeitgeist. I mean, that's the thing that we all have to understand right now. It's the zeitgeist. So, is it going to last? I don't know. I think it is. I'll just be honest with everybody, just in how I see it. And if you kind of understand where I work now, which I'm not going to get into, it influences a lot of what the future will hold when it comes to the military. This isn't going to go away even if you elect in another president, because if another president kicks in, you have a lot of politicians. Remember, general officers, no matter what you might think about them, they're smart people. They absolutely are. General officers are smart. They might do some stupid shit, but they're smart. But they're all politicians.
Yeah.
To become a general officer, you're a politician. And you've got a lot of general officers who came up, who are, we'll just say, let go and are coming up now who promote this because of, when somebody gets promoted, one of the things that people need to look at, it's not a short-term thing to say, oh, look, we have our first openly, whatever, openly BIPOC, trans, alphabet, whatever person here. That's not a short-term play. That's a long-term play, because now you have to find a way to get rid of that person if you don't agree with that stuff, and you can't just say go away. Because if you do, then it becomes discrimination, and it becomes all types of problems outside of that. So these people are embedded. It's the same thing that happened in our hobbies. What happened to our hobby many years ago? Same thing. You can look at Comicsgate. That happened there. Look at comics nowadays. When you infiltrate hobbies, and it's not just comics and games, it's also movies, sporting events, things like not keeping score, trying to, letting that trans swimmer do that nonsense, et cetera, et cetera. When you let all that happen, it starts to infiltrate bigger and more important areas. Companies, you have California with a dumb law saying you now have these diversity quotas on boards. You're not going to get rid of this, people. You're not going to get rid of this. And that's an unfortunate thing, because I sit here and delude myself because I still work for the Air Force and say, this can't last. This can't last. I work with too many people, and I'm not going to mention names, obviously, but I work with way too many people that disagree with this nonsense. But you know what they all have in common? They're all 45 years old or older.
See, the whole pride thing, and I'm not trying to get too far into that nest of hornets. I wouldn't mind if the parade would just have not drag. I'm not going. The whole drag queen thing needs to be taken out.
But that's their whole representation. That's the whole shtick.
But if you had lesbians, if you had lesbians and gay married couples walking down the street holding hand in hand, not dressed as if they're going to fucking Mardi Gras, but wearing uniforms or normal clothing, just representing the fact that they are gay or lesbian or whatever.
In what context are you talking? Are you talking for the military? Are you talking in San Francisco? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the military.
Okay, then tell me this. When do I get to walk up and down the street and have a parade?
Trust me, I've been, I get you.
Nobody should. We already have months, and I'll tell you, the military really pushes this. And to be fair, I actually think most of this is a good thing. But we push Asian Pacific Islander Month. We promote Black History Month. We promote all these different months. And I'm not saying there should be a white month. I'm not saying that at all. My point being is, nobody should be marching at all.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to have an Irish month. Everybody says, well, that's St. Patrick's Day. I'm like, not really, but okay, we'll go with it anyways. But San Francisco's always been...
Well, yeah, that's why I wanted that clarity, because I wanted to see if you're just talking public. I don't care what the public does. Public does weird shit all the time. People march and do what they want to do. I have parades. My hometown had to think,
they have the constitutional right to do that.
Well, my thing is, in the military, I can't just get a bunch of our gamer nerd friends and start marching down, the main drag of, Ramstein Air Base or whatever. Yeah, no political. Well, that's not actually 100% true. The no political activities, but you are right. Well, actually, no, he said it right. While in uniform, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I stand corrected. You are allowed to do political activities outside of uniform, except for you still have even limitations there. So yeah. I apologize. I didn't mean to say you were wrong there because I for whatever reason I glossed over the uniform part, and you're absolutely right about that.
Where the hell is my war crime month? My people to be representative. Damn it, JD. Isn't it about your bedtime?
It's not a war crime if it's the first time. If there's anything, any hope, it's not a war crime if it's the first time. I wonder if I'll get booted off of YouTube for this.
Well, Shauner's back. I mean, he's not, broadcasting anything right now, but it didn't stick with him.
Shauner got kicked off?
We were on a stream with him the other night, and he was going through movie trailers.
Oh, well, yeah.
Stream right the fuck off.
Yep, that's why I got really nervous when I did that Willow thing. That's why it took me so long to decide to do that, because that's a big deal, guys. Like that's not something you'll mess around with. And even if you're in the right, they're gonna fight you to the end because you'll have to get a lawyer if you know how the YouTube system works for that. I've actually threatened companies like that came after me, like the anime stuff. I'd be like, dude, I've got a lawyer on standby. Do you want to have this fight? I've been paying him for years, so I'm actually kind of ready for this. Your video is now accessible on YouTube. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what can and cannot be showed. Therefore, I don't show any videos on my channel.
Now, this is a TikToker that's funny as hell. Let's see if I can stay on YouTube with this.
Oh, yeah.
Don't worry, I'll learn you it. Because today we're talking about the most psychologically damaging melee weapon of all time. The knife hand. It is the most iconic hand gesture inside of the American healthcare system, spanning across all branches. So where did it come from? While we don't know for sure, it's believed that it came into popularity during the American Civil War. Being that it was fought with actual muskets and cannons, it created a literal fog of war. This fog made it hard to see where people were pointing, so troops would adapt pointing with their entire hand to improve visibility. It's extremely common to see pictures of military leaders from that era posing with their knife hand sheathed, a way of letting the world know I always keep that thing on me. But in an era of radios and cell phones, why would that still be relevant? Well, as my drill sergeant told me, it is an effective tool of leadership. You see, when you point the finger at someone, you've got 3 fingers pointed back at you. But when you point the knife hand at someone, you're letting them know it is 100% their fucking fault. You see, inside of the American healthcare system, being on the wrong end of the drill instructor's knife hand is a rite of passage. It is quite literally the American military equivalent of when the monkey rubs the grape jelly on Simba's forehead. Except instead of whispering, that drill instructor is going to yell, "God damn it, Private," so fucking loud, it's no wonder the 3M earplugs don't work. He's then going to proceed to make you do push-ups till he gets tired of watching you, while he explains to you your deficiencies as a human being in detail. And then he's probably going to explain the deficiencies of your mother's parenting ability while he's at it. Now, if you see a knife hand in the wild, don't be alarmed. It might not be bad because there's 2 different flavors of knife hand. There's a positive knife hand and a negative knife hand. Positive knife hand just means I'm absolutely sure. For example, if you ask someone in the military for directions and they go, "Yeah, it's that way," and they point with their finger like a normal person, that's them telling you, "I'm pretty sure it's that way." But if they don't say anything and they just go, they're nonchalantly telling you that shit is absolutely that way. Not only am I positive, but all 5 phalange delegates on my meat mitten just held an election and they're fucking positive too. And then you have the negative knife hand, and it's terrifying. For all intents and purposes, it is the military equivalent of, "Looky here, motherfucker." Look at this young man, for example. You can't see it in the picture, but his butthole went from normal to sweaty, like that. Like he knows he's got 3 seconds to unfuck himself, or that guy's gonna unfuck him so hard he's gonna be a born-again virgin. PT belt or not, but that's a different video. I'll give you a real-life example. This is Marine General and American poet Mad Dog Mathis, a man responsible for elegant poetry like, and I quote, "Always carry a knife with you in case there's a cheesecake, or you need to stab somebody." Yeah, 575, that's a stab you. Poetry jokes. I could do a whole video on this man's quotes alone, but I just need you to understand he's a huge badass. And this is a picture of him giving the knife hand. There's only one other military person in the room, and he's a 4-star general, and his face says it all. That is the look that an older brother has when his younger brother has been being a dick to his mom all day, and dad just got home from work. Just that expression of, "I remember when I had to learn this. Dad's gonna put his lunchbox down and beat your fucking ass." In conclusion, the knife hand is America's weapon of mass instruction that you want pointed everywhere but at you. Merch store and all my other links are available at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
Oh my God, I'm still
Weapon of mass instruction. I like that.
Yeah, I I preach this guy's preachings all the time. He's my absolute favorite TikToker. I wish I didn't even have to say that. I don't even have.
I don't even use TikTok.
I don't either. I wait for it to upload to YouTube, and then I'm happy.
I'm actually pushing my channel out on TikTok.
Well, I hear TikTok has longer videos now. It used to be 1 minute. Now I guess you can do 3 minutes or something.
3 minutes, yeah.
But I name one of my videos that only lasts 3 minutes.
That ain't gonna happen. I tried to say I'm sorry for making myself a drunken mess on a Friday night. 12 minutes later, I'm hitting end.
You know you didn't need to do that, right?
Yeah, I do, but like I don't remember what happened. So I didn't see any weird texts. I didn't see any weird emails go out.
If something bad would have really happened, I would have sent you a message in Discord and be like, Bruce, what the fuck, man? But just so everybody's clear, I do appreciate it though. So thanks.
Oh no, that's this type of person I am. I'm like, I think I fucked up here. Not certain, but want to make sure that like we're still good. I got drunk because it was my first fucking day I could drink after a full month of not.
Yeah, no, everyone's like, "Is he dead?" Right, and I
was like, somebody turn him over. He's gonna vomit in his mouth.
Right. Then I hear snoring, and I'm like, "No, he's good. He's snoring. Are you sure?" As I lean closer to my laptop, yep, he's snoring.
Hey, DM
James.
Happy Memorial Day, buddy. Yeah. So, Mark, how many videos are you going to dice up this week out of your work that you did with the digest? Because I noticed that's one way you managed to get your messages across is you'll have your 3-hour stream with Heathen Dog, and then you'll cut them up.
Oh, so I just do it by segments. So the way I try to do it is segment 1 goes up on Thursday because that's usually a little less topical. It's a game that's been out for how long? I mean, it doesn't matter if it goes out on Thursday or Tuesday, right? And then I try to do segment 2 on Tuesday because that's a bit more topical, and I don't want to wait too long on that. That's unless a segment goes like many multiple parts or just way too long. I don't usually cut it up anymore in that. And the other thing that does is the people who watch the entire live stream get to see the beginning where we're just kind of shooting the shit, get to see the interlude in between the segments where we might be adding on some more clarification or talking or just, again, hanging out with chat. And of course, the viewer interaction side of it, that doesn't go up either. So people can come on and kind of say what they want.
Nice.
Thank you for the call out. This past Sunday.
Look, I don't know what you guys have to do to make this happen. I'm not blaming you guys. It's kind of sounded like I was accusing you. No, but I don't know what YouTube requires from you guys to make it happen. But I always look before I start streaming to see who I can, in Twitch terms, it's called a raid. But I can actually set my stuff up to have it automatically go over to your stream and my stream is done, but I never see one of you guys on there. And I don't know if there's something you have to do with your channels. It's called a redirect. If you guys want to look it up.
I have to get like numbers.
Is it? Then how can I redirect to OGGM?
He's got over 2,000.
No, he doesn't. It's like 800. What did OGGM get 2,000?
He's got like over 1,000 or so subscribers. I don't know how, but I mean, he's.
Let me see that because last I saw he had like 700, 800.
No,
I think at 700 you get the community tab opened up to you, and so a lot of options will open up.
Yeah, some things they've changed so many numbers from the day when I joined YouTube that. Oh wait, what am I looking for? The OG is it the OGGM?
I think so.
Yep, the OGGM's Adventures. He's got. Ow! Can I not see his numbers? Oh, 717.
Okay, so he's just a little bit above me. I'm in the 420s still. I'll be.
I bet you it's 500. I mean, that seems to be a lot of cutoff now for YouTube is 500.
I'm at 33 and growing.
Yeah, now yours, Cigar DM, yours is the only one I can't just auto link to in my descriptions. So like Bruce, I can just in my description I can just type @ start typing B and his name will pop up. I just click on it, so I don't have to like copy and paste his link. So it's like doing an @ on Twitter. So even Shadow and Sun, I can do that too. And I think I don't know what his numbers are right now, but I know at first he only had a couple hundred. But yeah, I don't know what you have to do to get to that point though. Or if you have to turn something on. A lot of times with YouTube, you have to find this buried button somewhere. That redirect stuff is not a joke. You have to do like this multi-step process in order to turn that on.
I'll look into it. I'm sure it's a number thing, and I'm sure I'm just not there. And that's fine, you know. I'll get there.
Are you promoting your videos at all?
No, but I probably should. Well, I do on everybody else's chat.
There's no probably in there.
No, I promote. You know, I tell people what I'm doing this week. It's like,
No. I mean, these are the simple things, not the actual best promotion ways, but the simple things. Like, do you Twitter 24 hours prior say, "Hey, I've got a stream starting at tomorrow." Do you go into your StreamYard and actually schedule it beforehand, like a day beforehand, and then it pops up on YouTube, and then we can see you're going to start streaming tomorrow? This is how I knew about this one from Bruce, and I had it set me a reminder. It's like he scheduled this like last week or something.
I'll start doing that. Especially with Sunday, with Shadow and Sun.
Yeah, it's a little thing. I'm not telling you how to do. Look, I'm a 3,000 subscriber YouTube channel. I'm not anybody big by any stretch of imagination. Listen to people with 50, 500, 5 million, more than me. But those are just some of the little tricks. Now, to be fair, most of my stuff is done on Sundays. Like every tweet that's going out this week has already been scheduled. Yeah, I hate Twitter.
Yeah, I don't have much of a following on Twitter.
When they keep killing my account, I just stop making accounts.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to use Twitter. You can use something else. The other thing is, though, and this is where I use social media wrong, is I don't engage with people on Twitter. I use Twitter for two things: to advertise my stuff, so they call that billboard posting, which is one of the worst things you can do. And then I troll people. I find like somebody will post in my Discord like some asinine comment that some weirdo made out there in Twitter, and I will troll it to the nth degree because I literally tried to get kicked off Twitter. All you people I'm jealous of, like, I've been banned from Twitter. How? I have said everything that Twitter says not to say, and I have not been kicked off yet.
I accurately described a certain prophet of the religion of peace. And I no longer have my Twitter account. I mean, it's still there. It's just completely suspended till the end of time. Because I repeated facts, and that's how I did it. Apparently, their fucking trusting safety office is somewhere near Medina, Saudi Arabia.
I mean, the only time
it still exists.
I'm on Twitter is basically to look at boobies. To be honest.
In just a moment, Bruce, if you want to, maybe I can get you kicked off of something else. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how to get to. Get out of there. I'm not going to tell you who owns this webpage. I will just tell you that I know the person.
Hey, Cat 5.
And when's the last time that he posted? Oh God, he hasn't posted in years, but I still have it here. Okay. I can't believe it's still up. I want to find, let's see, Obamacare, transgenders, feminists, white knights. What am I looking for specifically? Oh, the religion one, because you mentioned religion. Taxpayers, employment. Where's the religion one? I thought he had one for religion. Anti-gun. Is that Lindsay Lohan? What the hell is that?
This?
Oh, gross! Fat people.
Oh, you're looking at.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at a website. I'm trying to find because I want to see if you did something this bad. But maybe I'm not remembering. I can't find it. Who is Sandra Fluke? I remember that name.
Sandra Fluke is the lady that said $3,000 a month was not enough for her to use contraceptives.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
That was one Rush Limbaugh got in trouble for.
Maybe it's this one, religious idiocy. Oh yeah, okay, that is it. Posted in 2012, so 10 years ago. I'll let you look it over, and then if you want to show it, show it. If you don't want to show it, don't show it. It's
sure
maybe not as funny as I remember because
Anybody here know what James is talking about with the Monkey's Claw June Jam?
Oh, the monkey paw thing. Monkey. That's there's an advertisement that went out. What was it? Was that a convention? I can't remember what it was, but basically said you have to be inclusive and all this other weird nonsense. Oh no, no, it was a report that basically said be inclusive, blah blah. But then at the bottom it said something about if you're a Nazi, go fuck yourself. You know, it's like it was like this real quick twist, like oh, it's like some sort of convention or sales or I forget because I did see it, but right at the bottom it turned around and said, if you're a Nazi, go fuck off, blah blah blah. We don't need more people like you. It's like where'd this come from? Unless that's something different. Now that's the monkey paw thing that I was talking about. So maybe I'm wrong again. God, that'd be twice in one stream. But I'm not on my own channel.
It's
Yeah,
all right.
you can't be wrong there.
Nowadays, we all had COVID, and now we get brain fog.
And I got vaccinated last week. This past week, this whole Thursday. No, yeah, I got shot Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And most of today, I've been like, ugh, feels like somebody's sitting on my chest.
This is weird. Do you know who this site belongs to?
Yes.
Is this your site?
No.
Okay.
If it was, I wouldn't admit to it.
Wow. Like,
Okay. Now it's got my interest. Yeah. Well, wait, no. Yeah, here we go.
it's like somebody tried to interpret what Kai was saying, and they only heard like every third word. I know it was written in 2012 because he's talking about a 33-cent bullet. Shit, fucking AK shit ain't that fucking cheap anymore. My bad.
33-cent. But was that? Did I send you the religion one?
Religious idiocy. What the fuck? What?
Oh, you said bullet. I don't remember what's said in there. I just remember. I'll just tell you that the guy who wrote that is or was in the military and is kind of nuts.
I mean, this kind of looks back to MySpace days.
It reminds me actually of geosites.
Mm.
The precursor to MySpace.
Well, it's WordPress from like what, 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Why can't I get the spacing to work? So I'm working on some Photoshop at the same time.
They do have better layout than I do on my RPG document that I'm working on. Wow, I didn't mean to drag that one down, guys. Okay, now DM James has got a what am I submitting for Monkey's Claw June Jam? Let me look at. Hey, Tommy.
Uh-oh.
No, what I've been hearing though about Top Gun Maverick, other than him, like, it being a Tom Cruise movie, it's not that bad.
Everybody I know has loved it so far.
Yeah, the biggest complaint I've heard that is that Tom Cruise is in it. I'm like, oh, okay.
For many years, I would not go see a Tom Cruise movie because he owes me an incentive flight.
What does he owe you as okay.
I was in the Air Force. I was stationed at Kuhnsound Air Base in 1994.
Okay.
95. That's where I actually turned around from being a complete shitbag airman into being something, productive in society. And because of that, I won an award called what they call a Wolfpack Warrior. And what they started doing with Wolfpack Warriors is they would give you an incentive flight on F-16. So we had just got the F-16s before then. The first part of my tour there was F-4s, which really sucked. Those things are loud as hell. But F-16, and I got an incentive flight. Tom Cruise came in. I'm sure Tom Cruise himself didn't do this. I'm sure it was his publicist, whatever. But Tom Cruise came in to promote his movie Interview with the Vampire and said, I want an incentive flight. They said, hey, Airman Schlo, you're going to have to wait until another time. And guess what time never showed up?
Oh, no. How did the Interview with the Vampire have anything to do with the fucking Air Force?
He was promoting it. No, he was promoting the movie in Korea.
Oh, okay. I mean, okay. That was actually, there's this guy on YouTube I watch, Legal Eagle. I don't know if you guys heard of him, but he's on YouTube.
He's the worst. You need to stop watching him now. That's the dude in the suit, right?
Yeah.
No, stop watching him now. He's a piece of shit cuck. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. You watch Nick Rekieta.
Yeah, watch Nick Rekieta. Rekieta Law is badass.
All right.
Do not. Legal Eagle is and he's been wrong. He's actually been wrong, legally been wrong more than he's been right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
His record's horrible, dude. There's a reason why he's on YouTube and not in a courtroom right now making money.
Well, there's a reason Nick's not in a courtroom also. He makes more money on YouTube.
So, well, yeah, but Legal Eagle, whenever he goes to a courtroom, it seems like he loses money.
Yeah, Legal Eagle is a piece of shit. Doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right. I mainly watch his show for when he's like doing the movies. So it's okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Rekieta Law, that's who you want to talk. The only thing that really irks me about Nick is really big in the they and the singular, and also he eats on his stream because he's got a good microphone that doesn't pick it up, but he'll talk with his fucking mouth full. It's like he didn't have any. His parents didn't have any kids that lived.
Sometimes I wonder if my mom wished she had kids that didn't live.
So they're doing a OSR competition.
So Parrot had LawTube. Did you hear Nick's whole thing about LawTube? He's out of LawTube now because there was some drama between Legal Bites and the DUI guy. So he doesn't want anything to do with that. So he's basically, I'm out of LawTube.
And that's weird that we say blanket LawTube.
Nick is a very independent person, sometimes overly so, if you ask me. But you know what? Everybody's different. So
I agree with you, DM James. Everybody subscribe to DM James if you don't already subscribe to him as is. Real nice guy, very laid back.
That's just my sense of humor. It's not a cry for help. Self-defecation is it's
what?
Humor.
What? Self-defecation?
Yeah, I shit on myself too. What can I say?
that's fair. Yeah, there are some good streamers in LawTube. I agree with that. And then the thing is I like this whole Amber Heard thing. I don't care about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, but I love seeing how the law works around it. And I like listening to these guys talk about, what would normally happen, what wouldn't normally happen. Like when Johnny Depp was getting snarky with one of the lawyers, they're like, yeah, that wouldn't fly in most courtrooms. However, because he's Johnny Depp, because he's doing it with in this charismatic way, the judge is kind of letting him go.
Oh, the whole is it safe to say you were drinking a lot? Were you there?
Yeah, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
my favorite one was when he was put on the stand again. It's like, objection. You're objecting to what happened to me, or whatever. I forget the exact words that he said, but yeah, it's like, okay. Johnny Depp is. I do not like Johnny Depp movies. I'm going to say that I don't. They're like when I didn't like 21 Jump Street. I hated Edward Scissorhands. I know he's been a lot more than that. I never watched the Caribbean movies until just the other day. I watched the first one finally because it's not a genre I like, and Johnny Depp he's never in anything that I would want to watch. But I tell you what, after watching this trial, I want to be his friend.
Yeah, you're not the first person who's ever said that.
I do too, because it looks like he carries around stuff. He might have some good alcohol nearby.
No, it's not even about that. It's just like he comes across as such a down-to-earth person. Like, okay, yeah, he owns an island. Yeah, he's got, he's giving that bitch $10,000 in wine a day or something, or a month or whatever the hell it was, whatever. But when he talks, he's just like, you know what, dude, you are saying the same things I want to say. So good on you.
I've been watching the trial. Actually, I've been watching the trial secondhand because there's another lawyer. I'm trying to figure out look who it is. But he's doing his point of view on the law, and I have a few friends that are lawyers because of the sport I'm in, and they're saying we don't. Both of them. I'm not going to say their names online because it's on YouTube because I just no.
Fair.
But both of them are like that lawyer that Amber Heard has, the older lady and the guy Rottenbottom.
She sucks.
Yeah, it's like I don't know where they got their law degree, but it wasn't good.
Well, Rottenborn isn't doing a bad job necessarily. He just doesn't have a lot to work with. That Elaine, whatever her name is, she's horrible. I love how they keep calling her the cat lady too. God, she is absolutely god awful. Like even I recognize that. Now, I mean, I've been following Nick Rekieta long before any of these trial things started, before Rittenhouse and so forth. I was following him through the Vic Mignogna stuff. And when he started hanging out with Comicsgate, that's when I started, knowing who he's from. And him being in Minnesota now, not actually from Minnesota, gives me a little like, okay, hometown stuff for me. But yeah, like so I've watched all this stuff, and I'm starting to see things like that is a horrible lawyer. Fire her.
He here says himself, yeah, law, Mellon law degree. I think I would make a better lawyer than she would. I think the actor who played Matlock would be a better lawyer than she was. But no, the whole thing, if Johnny wins this case, it will basically be the death knell for the Me Too movement.
I don't know about that. I think they just have to be more careful.
It'll lay low for a while. It's not going to be a death knell.
Well, I think it'll be scrutinized because, to be fair, there are parts of the Me Too movement that aren't necessarily a bad thing.
No,
but yeah, you can't. This whole just believe all women thing. So one of my when I was in Germany, one of my coworkers is former Army, and he said that when he was in the Army, this girl completely lied about an incident. The guy that she lied about ended up getting kicked out of the Army. Didn't go to court or anything, just got kicked out of the Army. After he was kicked out, after she had PCS'd to her next base, she said, yeah, I lied about that. And didn't get in any trouble other than, oh, that was wrong of you, don't do that again. The way I see it is if you lie about somebody and it's found out in court that you're lying, you should get the same punishment he got.
Yeah.
Now, that kid didn't go to prison, thank God, but he did get a bad conduct or dishonorable discharge.
Can't you fight that? I mean, can't you go back?
Yeah, you can. It takes time, but yeah, and I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, obviously, he wasn't following up with this kid all the time, but it's just one of those things where, if you're going to accuse somebody, this is why I think, what is it? Is it Italy? What country is it that says that if you bring somebody to court and lose, you have to pay that person's legal fees?
Huh.
I'm for that.
I don't know, but maybe we should bring it here. Fuck.
I'm absolutely for that. If you're suing me and you take me to court and you make me go through all this nonsense that's going to rack up my legal fees, then you should have to pay for them if you lose.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Kat. The Me Too movement is not, can be good. I should never say that, it's a horrible, and I never will say it's a horrible thing. It's just like everything else, you got to look at the person behind the scenario, not just
each individual issue needs to be taken on its own merits. It can't be blamed.
Right.
Why am I a furry, DMJ? What the hell's wrong with you? Furry. Just because I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or After the Bomb role-playing game, that makes me a furry?
No, that's the fact that you have about 3 or 4 prints from Machini 90 when he was doing his Sonic Heroes inks.
Oh my God. The moist thing followed me all the way to my yesterday when I started on your chill stream.
Oh,
that guy.
They're not going to be. They're trying to sweep them out of the public limelight.
Man, what was her name? God, I had such a fucking thing for her. She was on
Allison Mack.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember the first thing I said, did you know she belonged to a sex cult? I'm like, well, that's not fair. Like,
why didn't I belong to that sex cult?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I'm like, damn. It's like, dude, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh, she's hot.
Yeah, she was super hot, but she's not going to get out for any time soon. They need a patsy, and that's her.
She's not doing all that much time. It was like 6 years, I think. Last thing I heard anything about it.
6 years of being out of that club is going to hurt her the rest of her life.
Well, her fuck, being evicted is going to be hurting her for the rest of her life. Her TV acting career is done. She's going to be registered as a sex offender, most
I
likely.
don't think you understand how much money is in porn.
She wasn't doing porn though.
Well, how much money is in porn for women?
For women, she's not probably going to do porn. She's probably going to be a manager. She's probably going to still kind of arrange for films. It's going to be more officiated. But I don't think she's out of show business. I think she's just been brought. She's getting 6 months or 6 years on vacation. Then she's going to get back into Hollywood, and she's going to be asking what she can do. And then they're going to be like, well, you can help us out. And we could really use some of that.
You can kneel down for a minute.
Hey, you see that couch over there? Yes.
Yeah, she could probably do that for a few times, but because of her connections and because of her ability to talk to people, she's probably going to be a mover and shaker in the porn industry, and it'll eventually lead back to where she was. I don't think, unless she gets suicided, which I don't see her make any statements against Hillary Clinton, I don't think that's going to happen.
DM James, why do you say such hurtful words? Actually, I was on one of the Friday chill streams, looked it up, and come to find out that the original TMNT, because that's what I played. I've never actually played the current version of After the Bomb. I've only played the TMNT version of After the Bomb, and ferrets in that game get such incredible bonuses. It's ridiculous. It's like, it's not even, I don't want to say it's not fun. It's obviously fun for the player, but nothing really compares to them if you're doing anything dealing with movement or dexterity or actions to hit, so on and so forth. You know how Palladium works. But the new After the Bomb tones them down incredibly. So I'm not against them anymore.
Oh, sorry. Speaking of Ninja Turtles, I actually had a friend of mine drop off a stack of the last Ronin series for the Ninja Turtles, right? And it is fucking dark.
Yeah, the Ninja Turtles was a dark comic.
Oh, I mean, I knew the original Ninja Turtles was a dark comic. This one hit the ground running. I mean, and it's still go. Well, I don't know if the series is over. I got like issue 5 I'm still going through, and I think there might be a few more, but like all the turtles other than Mikey are dead. Split the Rat's dead. April is missing an arm and a leg. Casey Jones is dead. It's turned into
Not Casey Jones. No.
Right. I'm like, no. But yeah, it's like, holy fuck.
Well, that's a way to write out the main characters and start having stories with new characters. I'm okay with that.
That's what they're doing in DC. They're killing off Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and one of the Lanterns. Because they're trying to give the other characters more time in the sun.
I hope they're vampires.
There is a vampire version of the DC Justice League. It's not any good. But
I'm having to research what these weasels are. Mustelidae. Like, I've never heard of that, but that's badgers, otters, weasels, and relatives. I was not aware of this.
Badgers are pretty cool too, but weasels themselves, weasels and ferrets just got such like +9 to physical prowess. Are you kidding me?
I saw a video on honey badgers once, where this honey badger
don't give a shit.
Yeah, like this honey badger is about ready to get into it with a lion.
That's a viral video a few years ago.
Yeah, it just fucking dies right between his legs and goes straight for the nuts. I'm like, oh my god, that's my spirit animal.
That's gross, dude.
He gives no fucks.
Your spirit animal is something that goes for other dudes' nuts?
Yes, and kills them.
That's funny.
No ring, no ring has ever clogged a hole.
That's a plumberism right there. No ring like the hole. We're going to be wrapping this up here pretty shortly, but I wanted to talk about the things that have been coming out this weekend. It seems like all I've been hearing about is Uvalde, and I was a little bit disappointed because the more I hear about it, the more I'm just getting upset, you know. And I think everybody that
I think people need to wait, though. It's going to be one of those things where more information is going to come out as time goes on. And I think, you know, obviously the families there, you know, they don't want to hear this, but I think for the rest of us, we just need to be patient on this and see what really comes out of it. And somebody has to stay on top of it. Freedom of Information Act, so on and so forth nonsense.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That, and they don't get suicided for poking their head in there.
No, that happened. Some guy in Brooklyn got shot off his front porch. Apparently, there was this graduation. I don't remember where, but they were having graduation. This guy walks in with a gun, and before he was able to fire a round, some lady puts one in his head. And that's just been the last, couple days.
The other thing I saw this week was there was a guy that he was stealing a package off of someone's front porch, and a U.S. Marine Corps guy was living there, and the package had a flashbang rigged up in it.
Nice.
And he shit himself.
Good.
He shit himself. No, I'll have to pull this up because apparently Donald hasn't seen this.
No. No. Every time I turn on news, it's, Biden's dropping the ball, or Putin's being a warlord, a war tyrant, or Sandy Hook, or some poor bastard getting shot.
Well, that's because, nobody reports on the planes that don't crash.
I don't want to hear about them. Yeah, that's true.
So, that's just the way media works.
It's like, I miss the days when they were going after presidents for getting a blowjob in the Oval Office.
This will be the last minute share. This is, I got to end on a high note, on a happy note.
We can't see that if you're trying to show it to us.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Let me get back. I'm sorry. Did it not fucking share? It did not share. Share screen. Share that. Share that. Okay. How's that? Better?
Yep, we can see. Yep, we can see it now. Well, he shit himself because his pants. He couldn't pull up his pants.
Oh, shit!
Oh, he smells it. Oh, gross. I wasn't trying to steal no package. Okay.
What the fuck is he even still doing there?
Stop smelling it. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, just as a side note for people, just so people know, be careful. In I think every state, what he did is actually illegal.
Yes, you can't unknowingly set a trap for a.
Which is stupid because I'd booby trap my entire yard because I don't want people running through it. But apparently, you're not allowed to do that.
There was a court case years ago where this guy set up he had somebody breaking into his cabin, and he set up rigged up a shotgun to go off. For the guy that keeps breaking in, it goes off.
I don't see the problem.
Yeah, I don't see the problem either. But I'm just, saying, well, you can go to jail for that.
I told Viva Fry one time, and he actually called me out for it as Legion of Myth on his legal channel. Him and Legal Bites were talking about something, and I said, I go to work for me and my family, not you and your family. My stuff is more important than your life. So, and he's like, do you want to go to court over that? I'm like, sure. because people are gonna know my shit is more important than your life. So how about don't come take my stuff?
Sounds like a reasonable request right there. I would love to people not to be thieves.
If you need it, ask for it, and then I'll tell you no. I mean, then we can work it out. But if you think that you're just gonna come and take my crap without me shooting you, I mean, my 45 is pretty close to my front door, so
45, really?
Yeah, it was my dad. It was my
I
dad's.
expect you to be like an AR guy, but at least put 2 in them.
Why would I have a rifle when I'm no? That's the one thing. Is like, if I could have a shot, I probably can in Alabama, but I'd rather have a sawed-off shotgun. But here's the thing: the problem with the only reason I have the 45 is because it was my dad's. When he died, I refused to let anybody know that that was part of the sale. So all his other guns went to auction, but I kept this one because it was sentimental to him and obviously to me, so I kept it.
Cool.
But do you think I want to shoot that thing inside a house? Have you ever fired a weapon inside a house? I used to shoot 22s inside a house. My dad was drunk and weird.
There's a reason why when you go to the range, you get like the headphones.
Yes,
like your 3M plugs.
Not going to hear anything for a month if you shoot a 45 inside the house, but I'll do it if you start taking my stuff.
Please be a threat, or to make somebody have to enact a castle law response.
It's
it'll be happening.
It's technically a class C felony to have a saw-off in Alabama.
Ooh.
I would still have it because I'd rather be judged than carried.
It better be tried. Yeah, exactly. It's better to be tried by. Tried by 12 than carried by 6, right? But talking because we've been doing this legal stuff. Andrew Bronca, I actually have his Law of Self-Defense book and CD. So that might be something that's what he focuses on. So that's again what some of these legal channels have been kind of helpful with that. So I do know Alabama, well, not all of it, but I do know some of Alabama's laws. I now know where some of the lines are, which to be honest, before I started reading this book, I thought some things were self-defense that are not considered self-defense. So
I found out here in Illinois, if I get a Floyd's license, I can have a switchblade and brass knuckles, which I have no idea why I have to have a Floyd core for, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, well, when I lived in Illinois, I just didn't tell him because I wasn't about to get a FOIA license.
And I'm like, I love brass knuckles under the concept of brass knuckles, but you're going to do more damage to yourself than you are to the other person using them. So they're not actually practical. They're fun, though.
No, that's why you get a pipe.
Or, as I used to, a roll of nickels. Because there's nothing like breaking change on somebody's face.
That was something my grandfather taught me years ago. Use a roll of nickels, and it'll help you with your landing that punch.
It does give you an extra thump when you're thumping, giving somebody an attitude adjustment.
I've never had to use it. I've never used it because I've never been jumped while I had a roll of nickels on me. But,
I used to carry rolls of nickels in both pockets.
In high school, I got my face slammed into a locker once, and that was the last time that I went in without like throwing a punch back. So that was that. But
no, my stepfather had a simple rule: if you're in a fight, even if you don't start it, but if you're in a fight and you get your ass kicked, you're gonna come home and get another ass kicked, get another ass kicking.
It's funny, my stepdad said the same thing.
Doesn't matter if you started or not. If you lose, you're gonna pay for it when you get home. So I'm like, so if I don't lose, we'll talk about it. And I'm like, okay.
So everyday carries down here. We got the little 45 I carry with in the car, and then at work I can't carry. I can carry, but my boss won't find out. But if I do, I get to lose my job. But there's other guys
You get to lose it. Yay! I got to lose my job today.
I get to lose my job, but I get to keep my life. If I have to use it. But I've also got a machete I carry, and most people see the machete hanging up in the truck as I drive by. It's in its own little rack like a shotgun used to be, and people they kind of give me the double take because I've got a machete hanging in the window. Yeah, the free state of Florida is like the free state of Texas. You can pretty much carry anything here, and they don't really bat an eye. Just make sure it's proper. Make sure you got
Not
your
gonna lie, I
safety.
want my neighbors armed. Texas has, to me, the best scenario as to why I want my neighbors armed. You remember that old dude that had the kids busting into his neighbor's house and he shot him? He's on 911 saying, "I'm gonna shoot him." I'm like, "Sir, just calm down." He's like, "Nope, there goes one." He shoots him. I was like, "Yeah, don't bust into people's houses. How about that?"
Makes sense. Just be a polite neighbor. Respect your neighbor's property. Don't try to break in when they're not home. Ask them when your garage sale is. Save up your money. That sort of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I want look. As long as you're not drunk and mistake me for somebody else, I want my neighbor to shoot somebody coming into my house.
That's fair. This is technically not my story. This is my former father-in-law story. When him and his brother were little, him and his parents lived out in the middle of nowhere, Illinois. I mean, really nowhere. And it was Halloween, and they had nowhere to go trick or treating. This is back like in the 50s and 60s, back when you can trick or treating was really trick or treating. And the dad had the idea of just running around the house, knock on the door, and your mom will give you a piece of candy. Well, the kids thought this was a great idea, so they did it a couple times. On their fourth time round, the father came out with a shotgun and fired it above their heads.
Seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm like, wow. He's like, yep. Then about half an hour later, the cops come and asked if everybody was still alive. I'm like, a half an hour later.
Hey, when seconds count, police will be there in minutes.
Maybe an hour. Well, that ends it for today's Memorial Day stream. Connell, you have anything going on tomorrow or this week?
Well, the next time you guys will see my ugly mug will be on Thursday for Table Breakers when we continue the different story plots. Then Friday, if Max will have me, of course. And Sunday, I will be doing a stream with Shadow and Sons, and we'll be talking about the latest season of Stranger Things, season 4. And that's about it.
Okay. Max, you've got some releases this week that are based out of the information you guys did, or that you did on the stream yesterday, correct?
Yeah, so what day is today? Today's Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, I had a short post. Tomorrow will be the segment 2. What did we talk about in segment 2? Or what did I talk about in segment 2? I forgot what yesterday's segment 2 was. It was about what Gary Gygax had to say, role-playing versus role-playing, ROLL playing versus ROLE playing, because people on both sides of the fence like to pretend the game's supposed to be LARP, and other people like to pretend like anybody who makes me be in character doesn't play the game right, blah, blah. So we just looked at what Gary Gygax said about that, so you can see what he had to say about the differences between role-playing and us dirty Dungeons or Dragonlance campaigners, and versus role playing beer and pretzel type people. That's what tomorrow. So Thursday will be segment 1 where we talk about robotics and Palladium. I keep saying we. Heathen Dog wasn't there.
Yeah, you were the only man streaming on that.
Robotics and Palladium's Unlimited. Friday is, as already noted, the Friday night chill stream. Yay! Where we're gonna hang out. We're gonna talk about whatever there's stuff to talk about. And then, of course, Sunday we'll be back, and Sunday will be the actual live stream where we talk about special training in Palladium. It's one of the power categories I do not like, but.
Hey, Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective, what time is your Monday stream today? Because might send some folks over there to go see that. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective talks about retro toys. And he talked about things that were primarily 80s and 90s focused. So I'm going to.
Sounds like fun. I might have to check that out.
He runs a real good stream. He has a lot of good people there. And there's his channel in the chat. The guy's at 722 subscribers. I'd love to see him get to 1,000.
I'd love to see me get to 1,000.
Well, I think it'll happen. He does a going to old school retro discussion, talks about a lot of various things. Lately, it's been about G.I. Joe and other things. My first introduction to Tommy was he was talking about the Diachron robot series And those were the pre-G1 Transformers from way back in the early mid 80s. So check out Tommy, and he's got a good channel. DM James has a great channel here. Actually, everybody here that's in my chat and the panelists, of course, if you guys can subscribe to them and just kind of help everybody out, you're not going to catch every stream. You're not going to catch 1 out of 5 after you start doing this. You will start having this idea or these different perspectives that will give you a great idea of what it was like to grow up just 30 or 40 years ago. And you'll be able to understand why the books are written the way they are, and why there's a separation of thought between, like, say, 5th edition D&D and some of the OSRs that are out there and the basic 1st edition TSR books. You'll see the split in mentality really start to give way. You'll see that. But DM James he does at least 1 video a day, it looks like. And if you like painting miniatures and just listening to a man talk, the guy's got lots of experience. Cat 5 Gaming does a lot of dev work, and she does a lot of other gaming streams. They're pretty short, pretty digestible, real nice, pleasant person. And then, like I said, Tommy and Guinea Pig Collective, he does a Monday stream, usually about 5 o'clock, if I remember right. I'm going to end this right here. I have to go watch the rest of a movie that I'm reviewing at 7 tonight with my friend Janet. I got through half of the film, and it's really good. It's that Victor Victoria.
Now, just don't do what Jack did from Shadow and Son. All but 20 minutes.
No, I'll watch all of it.
All right. Well,
Mac, thank you for showing up, my friend.
Yep, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
It was
not a
fun.
problem.
I thought he was going to rant more. I'm glad I didn't.
You and me both. I thought I was going to rant more. Everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. If you're going to be on my channel later at 7 o'clock tonight, I believe it's 7 o'clock tonight, me and Janet will be reviewing this wonderful show called Victor Victoria. I had never seen it before, and I'm very pleasantly surprised. I've never been more happily surprised by a movie in my life, actually.
sounds cool. I'll have to look forward to it. I'll probably end up watching Real Geniuses tonight with Val Kilmer.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, chat, for being here. Without you, we're just talking to the walls. Thank you, though.